Hey guys, it's Ruffles Kerman, and today we are sending an extremely large rocket to Duna. This rocket has a ton of extra Delta V, like being able to go to Duna twice extra Delta V. But if you watch to the end, you'll see that that didn't exactly happen. We needed really all the Delta V we could get. We love the Kraken. Anyway, this rocket is one of the biggest rockets I've built in KSP2. The biggest one in KSP2, and I think the biggest one in KSP just 1, the original as well. When I launched this rocket, it had 5 frames per second. So this is sped up 3 times just to make this actually watchable. This rocket is giant. And I don't think it looks giant until we open the fairing. Because once we deploy the fairing, you'll see what's actually inside, and that'll make the rest of the rocket look so much bigger. But this rocket was a pain to launch. It took me so many attempts and so many iterations. I didn't show the build of this rocket because it was just too crazy and whack, because I kept launching it, crashing, and blowing up. In fact, a few of my previous shorts were on this rocket crashing when I was trying to launch it because it just did not work. So yeah, that was fun. This moment right here was a very satisfying moment where I was actually in space and didn't blow up or flip around or crash my computer on the way. Speaking of crashing my computer, I feel like KSP2 is still very resource intensive and very hard for computers to handle. Like, I have a fairly decent computer. If you haven't seen my earlier videos, I have a Ryzen 7 5700G and an RX 6650 XT, so I know I'm an AMD man. But it's a pretty hefty computer. My RAM may be bottlenecking me a little bit because it's only 16 gigs, but that should be enough to run something like this. And yet, I'm getting some very slow FPS a lot of the time. So I think the devs definitely need to work on making KSP a little more user-friendly so more people can play it. Like, I know one of my brothers wants to play KSP2, but his computer probably can't handle it. My laptop can't handle it at all. I have to use my hefty desktop. KSP1, on the other hand, you could run on... I started playing it on something with a Core i3 and no GPU. So it was very user-friendly, but KSP2 I feel like is not at all. Right here you can see the rocket doing its rocket things. There's not much to say at this moment, it's just going to Duna. Yay! I hope they put in the auto maneuver node maker like KSP1 had, because that saved a lot of my time. It made me lazy, but they didn't, so I had to do all the work here. Anyway, that's about all there is to say about the transfer stage. While we are flying to Duna, there's something that I do really want to talk about, and that is Kerbal Space Program Multiplayer. I know everyone's very excited for this, and yet it is probably a few years out, because there's a lot of things the devs have to do first. But KSP Multiplayer is going to make KSP so much more different. In Kerbal Space Program, just the original, we had Luna Multiplayer, which was a mod that allowed you to play with other people. That was very limited though, because you couldn't really time warp very well, so you couldn't go to other planets. You were basically stuck on Kerbin flying around ships, and you could get other dogfighting mods and then dogfight, which was really fun. But there's other games for that. So it wasn't really a Kerbal Space Program multiplayer, it was more like turning it into the basic version of another game. But when KSP2 multiplayer comes out, it's going to be Kerbal Space Program, but multiplayer, so you can have multiple people, maybe racing to the moon or to another planet, or setting up colonies, or helping each other set up colonies. I don't know how it's all going to work, but I think it's going to be really awesome. Another thing I thought about with multiplayer, and I saw one of my comments on one of my videos talk about this, they said that I should do multiplayer with some of my viewers, and I think that would be really cool. Like if we did a live stream with multiplayer and I allowed some viewers to get on it, I think that would be a very fun way to connect with some of you guys, as well as just have a lot of fun and make some good content as well. So I think multiplayer is going to offer a lot of great options for reaching out to you guys. Oh yeah, by the way, we are at Duna, and we are putting the Kerbals in the landers to land on Duna. So the whole transfer stage is done, all we have to do is land now, and that's the easy part. Duna has an atmosphere, so you just pack 50 parachutes on your lander, and then you're set. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, I want to talk about content. I feel like recently my videos have been stalling a little bit, and that's my fault because I'm putting up content I think that's very similar to a lot of other people, and I'm not being as unique. I'm just trying to get content and get it out there. And I think that's not a good way to do it. So if you guys have ideas for what you want to see, I have some ideas to make the channel a little more interesting that I'm going to start. But if you guys have any of your ideas, please leave them in the comments below, because I want to know what you guys want to see from me, and not just do whatever I want. There's this thing called a YouTube algorithm, and we want the YouTube algorithm to like me and to promote my videos, and I have no idea how to do that. In all seriousness though, I enjoy just making videos for this channel. It's fun, and I get to share my love of space with y'all. And for those of you who have watched Types of Pilots in KSP Episode 2, which statistically is all of you, I have not forgotten about the next one. I've just been a little busy with this video, but hopefully the next video should be Types of Pilots in KSP 2, Episode 1. So I'm very excited for that, and I hope y'all are as well. Okay, we have our lander separated from our main gigantic craft, and we are about to enter Duna's atmosphere, if you can call it an atmosphere, because it's very light. If you see that large craft is made up of a lot of pieces, just because it's big, and that one giant helium bulb, helium sphere, whatever you want to call it. But that thing gave me a lot of trouble. It's so big and somehow slightly off balance. So if you noticed earlier, when I used the giant hydrogen engines to burn, it likes to twist a certain way. And I'm not sure why. It looks fairly balanced. It is slightly asymmetrical, but all of those things are pretty much weighted the same, I think. Except maybe the nuclear reactor or whatever it is, one of the new KSP2 pieces. But it gave me so much trouble. And the trouble's not over. It gave me a lot more trouble when I tried to dock with it. That's in a few minutes. That's for a future me to discuss. Okay, so we are entering Duna's atmosphere. Duna is basically the easiest place in the game to land on. Mine is Kerman because it has the atmosphere, and it's not like Eve with too much of an atmosphere and really heavy gravity and everything. So Duna is even easier to land on than the Mun or than Minmus, just because all you have to do is deploy the parachutes and you're basically set. You just have to burn a little bit at the end. But you see, we have some big parachutes on this, especially big for this small craft, just to catch all of the Duna's thin atmosphere we can. I'm still talking about the video. Okay, so let's talk about something else then. How about this upcoming semester? So for me, my next college semester starts fairly soon, in about 2 weeks. And that means I'm not exactly sure what that means for the channel. This is going to be a lot harder than any of my other semesters because I'm actually getting into the hard classes, the ones that take a lot of work, have a lot of labs, take a lot of brain power. So it doesn't mean that I'm ending the channel. Definitely does not mean that. I still really want to upload videos, want to work on this a little bit, but it means that I may have to change some things. So it may be that I may make some longer videos, some more in-depth videos, work a little more on them but make fewer of them, or I could keep about this same schedule. It really depends on what I feel like I can do after the first week or two of this semester. I'll definitely keep the content coming, but it may be a little bit different pace. Speaking of that, this summer's been a little bit different pace than the rest of that, and that's just because I have a bit of a part-time job at the moment, and I've have other things in my life that I'm working on, so I can't put as much time into this channel as I did previously. But it's definitely something that I will think about, and I will keep continuing. Can I call this video like the future of this channel, like one of those videos that everyone does that gets a bunch of views and they say it and then it's basically like a power tagged video? Like, they're not actually talking much about that. I don't know. I guess I could, because it wouldn't be clickbait, right? I talked about it for like 30 seconds. Oh look, we landed on Duna. This was actually my first Duna landing. My first successful one and my first Duna landing ever in Kerbal Space Program 2. Just lucky that it was successful. It's always very satisfying when you land on a planet for the first time and you get to see all the graphics and it looks so cool and you get to walk those little Kerbals around, and plant your little Kerbal flag, which we'll be doing in just a minute. This is one of the reasons I really like Kerbal Space Program, because it takes all this work and it's really hard, and sometimes you feel like you want to quit, but then when you actually achieve your goal, it feels awesome and you actually did something that was hard and you made it happen. It's really not like a lot of other games that are very quick to satisfy, and I don't know a lot about game philosophy, but it's just a lot different. It's something you have to work hard for, and then once you achieve your goal, it's really awesome. Consider this my plug for Kerbal Space Program. If you don't have enough money to get the second one, just get the first one. They both have this exact same philosophy of making it challenging, making you explode all the time, which is actually sort of fun. And I may have a few videos about just explosion. But you explode all the time and you work towards your goal, and then you achieve it, and then you take nice cinematic pictures of your Kerbal standing next to your flag on Duna. Okay, so this was the next problem I found. When I tried to take off, I tried to set the big ship as my target. The big ship was on a crash course with Duna, and I didn't put it there. It was just there. So yeah, I had to spend a ton of that extra delta V we started with just to get it back into a good orbit. And then when I tried to dock with it, this happened. Yeah. And it happened again. So I tried another time, and I tried to go as slow as I possibly could, and it happened again. So I gave up, and I left the Kerbals there. Little bit of a surprise twist ending to this video, but I couldn't do much about it. So these Kerbals, there's two of them, they are stranded on Duna now, and until Kerbal Space Program 2 is fixed and it stops bugging whenever you dock like that, I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe it's the game, I'm not sure. But until that's fixed, or until I send a rescue mission, these Kerbals are stuck. If you know how to fix this glitch, please let me know so I can save these poor Kerbals. But for now, they will be stuck on a planet without any food or water or air or anything besides the rocket. But they don't need that, they're Kerbals, right? Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and hit that subscribe button. That's about all the shameless plug I will do. If you were listening to the middle of the video and you heard about all the channel updates, please do leave a comment about those, about where you want to see this channel go next. Maybe even, video editing software use, any comments like that, that would help me take this to the next level. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.